Do not touch the glass. Do not approach the glass. You pass him nothing but soft paper. If he attempts to pass you anything, do not accept it. Do you understand me?
In the screen version of the best-selling thriller, The Silence of the Lambs, the search for an unknown killer creates a strange alliance through a wall of glass.
Good morning.
Dr. Lecter, my name is Clarice Starling. May I speak with you?
I play quiet, thoughtful kind of young FBI trainee who comes from a rural background. In order to find the serial killer she's pursuing, in order to find out how that mind works, she has to visit Dr. Hannibal Lecter.
Lecter is locked in an institute for the criminally insane. His nickname is Hannibal the Cannibal because he eats people. Well, sort of. Well, he's written as a highly intelligent, intellectually brilliant sociopath. I don't know what the difference is between that and a psychopath, but he has the most penetrating mind. I'll help you catch him, Clarice.
You know who he is, don't you? Tell me who decapitated your patient, Doctor.
All good things to those who wait.
The Silence of the Lambs marked a departure for filmmaker Jonathan Demme from such past hits as Melvin and Howard and Married to the Mob.
For me, more than anything, Silence of the Lambs is a story about one person trying desperately hard to save the life of another person. The first time I spoke with Jody, she talked about the idea of a character who identifies with the victim in a very passionate way. Given the degree of Clarice's desperation, Lecter really goes for the full court press inside her head.
Oh, Agent Starling, you think you can dissect me with this blunt little tool?
He feeds on pain, and that's his game. Somebody who loves pain but is behind bars and is not able to inflict it will get it anywhere he can. There's a moment in the movie where Hannibal says,
You know what you look like to me with your good bag and your cheap shoes? You look like a rube. Good nutrition's giving you some length of bone, but you're not more than one generation from poor white trash, are you, Agent Starling?
I can't think of anything more hurtful than somebody standing there saying, I really feel sorry for you. You're really pathetic. He started imitating my accent. He would say, oh, your problem, Clarice, is you need to get a little more fun out of life. And suddenly, it upset me so much. It was like struck a really bad chord in me. Anthony's the nicest man I've worked with in a long time, and the difference between that, of course, and the fury and passion of Hannibal Lecter is very interesting.
Working with Tony and Jody really falls into the category of, and I get paid to do this too, because it's literally such a joyful experience. It was great every morning when we'd do a Lecter scene. Tony would come in and go, "Good morning, Jonathan. You know, you're really the one that's mad." Something in the man's face suggests tremendous decency and intelligence. It's what made him so great for the part of the doctor in The Elephant Man. And he still looks like a great, brilliant, humane doctor, except what we know about him now goes against the grain.
Shots fired on 5, repeat. Shots fired on 5. Seal off a 10-block radius. Give me the SWAT team and an ambulance double quick. Oh, God.
Those great malignant villains are the most interesting ones to play because they say all the things that we dare not say.
Tell me, Mom, when your little girl is on the slab, where will it tickle you?
Take this thing back to Baltimore.
Circles where the girls were abducted, arrows where their bodies were found.
Crawford is, quote-unquote, her boss. He is the head of the behavioral science unit of the FBI.
I spent 4 days at Quantico with a man named John Douglas, who, in fact, does what I pretend to do in this movie. He specializes in hunting for, prosecuting sexual killers.
This whole program is called the National Center for the Analysis of Violent Crime. Tom Harris, the author of Silence of the Lambs, he spoke to several of us, and he developed this bizarre character. And it'll be a bizarre character to the public, thinking that someone like this can't possibly exist. But we know in the National Center, this person does exist. He is a composite of several serial killers. Ted Bundy would put a cast on his hand, and when the right victim came along, the victim would help him He'd hit her in the head, cuff her, and take her away. And then you'll see a pit. There'll be a scene where there'll be a pit, and that's the Gary Heidnik case out of Philadelphia.
Why won't you answer me, please?
Ed Gein in Plainfield, Wisconsin. He would kill people, and others he'd dig up their graves. Jody Foster spent quite a bit of time here at the National Center. We wanted her to see some of the crime scene photographs. I wanted her to experience some of the stress of this job.
She actually went out on the obstacle course that we fondly called a yellow brick road with one of our new agents' classes. I don't know whether I was surprised, but I sure was impressed.
Any movie that you do where you enter into a certain microcosm, certainly the world of the FBI, and you learn things that you could go your whole life and never know about. There's a whole part of the movie that deals with entomology and with the Smithsonian's research into insects and bugs.
Meet Mr. Acherontia Styx, better known to his friends as the Death's Head Moth. Somebody grew this guy, fed him honey and nightshade. Somebody loved him.
I'm fascinated by, and always will be fascinated by, the people that are objects of cruelty and people that are left out. All the scenes that I have with Anthony delve very deeply into that. Just as I want to know what makes somebody go out every day in a week and kill a new person and feed off of that, he wants to know what makes the hero. I trade bits and pieces of my personal life for information about who the killer is.
What does he do, this man you seek?
He kills women.
No, that is incidental.
Because he's a psychiatrist, he wants to know what it is that makes her tick.
Doctor, we don't have any more time for any of this now.
No, I will listen now.
Someone who is terrified of psychological analysis must submit to deep, brilliant analysis.
After your father's murder, you were orphaned. You were 10 years old. And
one morning, I just ran away.
not just, Clarice. What set you off?
He attacks her with us almost like a laser beam. He knows how to get information from her.
Then something woke you, didn't it? Was it a dream? What was it?
I heard a strange noise.
What was it?
Screaming.
And he finally gets it out of her.
Do you think if you save poor Catherine, you could make them stop, don't you? You think if Catherine lives, you won't wake up in the dark ever again to that awful screaming of the lambs?
Tell me his name, Doctor.